Kidding me? There's no name. It just says, may God prosper and bless your food pantry. We're really not letting people go hungry, man.
42 million Americans are about to lose their food assistance, not because of a natural disaster, not because of some economic collapse, because politicians in Washington decided that feeding people is negotiable. SNAP benefits. The program that helps 1 in 8 Americans buy groceries is getting shut down, and the people making this decision, they'll go home tonight to fully stocked kitchens while families across the country are calculating whether they can afford both electricity and food this month. This isn't about policy disagreements or budget concerns. This is about using hunger as a political weapon, and the casualties are working families, seniors, kids, veterans, people who did everything right and still can't make ends meet. Welcome to Mind Mirror. Today we're breaking down what happens when the government decides some people don't deserve to eat. Let's get into it.
While everyone's out getting free candy tonight, millions of families are wondering how starting tomorrow they're going to be able to afford to buy their groceries. Because when the clock hits November 1st, the government will still be shut down. 40 million people, hungry, and not because they did anything wrong. Instead, it's because of the people in power who are supposed to be helping us. SNAP isn't just some handout. It's how millions of families survive. It's kids eating breakfast, and seniors not having to choose between food and medicine. And frankly, even if it was a handout, I genuinely would not care. Because people deserve to eat, period. It's honestly absurd that this has become such a huge debate. Whether or not people should have food on their table is somehow up for discussion. So, I started a fundraiser with Feeding America. Yesterday I shared it with a goal of $500, which would provide 5,000 meals. And overnight we've reached it, so I raised it. My new goal is $1,000, which would provide 10,000 meals to people who need them. So consider donating if you can. Even just $1 provides 10 meals. Times are tough for everyone, but millions of people are going to go to bed hungry because of decisions that are being made by people who will never have to worry about feeding their own families.
The disconnect here is staggering. You've got people in suits arguing over spreadsheets while families are staring at empty refrigerators, wondering how they're feeding their kids tomorrow. SNAP isn't luxury spending. The average benefit is $187 a month. That's $6 per day. Try feeding yourself on $6 a day, and then lecture people about handouts. These benefits go to working people, seniors, veterans, people with disabilities. They're not gaming anything. They're surviving. When you use food as leverage in a political fight, you're not being fiscally responsible, you're being cruel. And we need to call it exactly what it is.
Breaking news, SNAP benefits are set to expire tonight at midnight, and our government still hasn't passed a resolution to fund the SNAP program. So there is a judge that is trying to see if she can overrule this and make the government pay people their SNAP benefits, but there's still no word as of yet. So as of now, SNAP benefits are set to expire at midnight tonight. Now, I know many of you voted for this. Many of you are happy for this, which shame on you pretty much. But there's a lot of people out there that need it, both Democrats and Republicans. And I'm neither. I'm an independent. But people going hungry, that's never a good thing. That just leads to more crime, more disease, more sickness. And health benefits are going to rise as well. They are rising. I mean, what are we going to do, people? So, stay being decent human beings. I love y'all. I'm out.
In less than 10 days, 42 million Americans risk not eating for the entire month of November. Let's talk about it. As many as 42 million Americans, which is roughly 10% of the United States population, will essentially not be receiving their benefits for the month of November due to the government shutdown. The USDA, which oversees SNAP benefits, went ahead and alerted state and local officials that they will not be sending out November benefits for SNAP, and also that individuals on this program might not see it for as long as the government is shut down. This quite literally could not come at a worse time, as we are now entering the last sector of the year, which is known as holiday season. Now, SNAP has an emergency fund that is able to hold nearly $6 billion. However, in order to fully pay individuals sufficiently and families, they need roughly $8.1 billion. And the USDA has said that without this additional $8.1 billion in funding, they're going to go ahead and suspend the entire program until the government reopens. This also comes at a time where nearly 17 different states have stopped accepting new SNAP applications, and this is occurring at a time where goods, gas, and groceries are going through the roof. Now, this is highly problematic as the holiday season is fast approaching, and millions of families across the United States need SNAP to be able to feed their families and themselves. I also want to point out that the main beneficiary of individuals or families on SNAP benefits is children. Now, that's all I have for you guys today, but feel free to check back in either later today or tomorrow when we have some more information. I highly recommend you follow me here on TikTok as well as my YouTube, which is linked in my bio. And I'll see you next time on another episode of Politics with NJ. Bye-bye.
Let's talk mechanics, because this matters. The USDA has a $6 billion emergency fund that Congress created specifically for situations like this, so food assistance wouldn't get interrupted during shutdowns, but they're choosing not to use it. Why? Political pressure. They want the pain visible. They want people angry enough that Congress caves on their demands. This is hostage-taking. Except the hostages are 42 million Americans and half of them are children. Here's what you need to do right now if you rely on SNAP. Contact local food banks immediately. Get on waiting lists. Connect with community organizations. Don't wait for politicians to fix this. They won't. Not in time. And if you don't rely on SNAP, check on your neighbors. That older person down the street, that single parent with 3 kids, they might need help and be too proud to ask. Community matters when institutions fail.
42 million Americans are about to go hungry. It's actually super fucked up. SNAP, which is a food assistance program here in the United States, is about to collapse. Thank you, government shutdown. And the longer the government stays shut down, the longer this means that millions of people may not be able to get food to eat. Many people rely on this as their sole source of food income. If they don't get their SNAP benefits, they aren't eating. SNAP funds groceries for 42 million Americans every single month. That is 1 out of 8 people in this country. But because the government hasn't passed a funding bill since October 1st, it's about to run out of money. And if the shutdown continues going, people could be losing their access to food as early as November. Like, SNAP covers food for working people, families, seniors, people with disabilities, veterans. But instead of our government coming together and finding a solution for once, of course, the government shut down again. And this time, so far, it's the second longest shutdown the United States has ever had. That also means that hundreds of thousands of federal workers are also either furloughed or working without pay. Think about that. The richest country on earth can't pay its federal employees right now because they don't want to. The government is using real human lives as leverage in this fucking political bitch fight. Like, I don't think people understand that when the United States government gets shut down, it isn't the government that is suffering. It's the average working class citizen that suffers first. It's us that's hurting, or is going to.
This is the reality nobody talks about. When the government shuts down, members of Congress still get paid. Their salaries are essential. But the people who run programs that feed 42 million Americans? Furloughed. Not essential, apparently. The system insulates decision makers from consequences. That's by design. Because if senators went without paychecks during shutdowns, if they had to personally tell families their kids won't eat this month, these shutdowns would end immediately. But they don't. So they use suffering as a negotiating tactic. Document everything if you're affected. Screenshots of benefit status, receipts from food banks, all of it. This isn't just about surviving November. It's about accountability later. And vote. Primaries matter. Local elections matter. The people making these decisions can be replaced.
You're frying me. You ate. Why are we so hungry?
We're hungry because we don't eat from the bread of life. We're thirsty because we don't drink from the everlasting well that is found in Christ.
They're actually doing it. They're cutting off food aid right before the holidays. According to Politico, Reuters, and Business Insider, at least 25 states are set to cut off SNAP benefits starting November 1st because of the ongoing government shutdown. That means millions of low-income Americans, families, seniors, kids, are about to lose the one thing standing between them and hunger. SNAP isn't some welfare freebie. It's the nation's largest anti-hunger program. It helps to feed over 42 million people with an average of about $187 a month just to buy groceries. Now, states from California to Arkansas, Hawaii, Indiana, Mississippi, and New Jersey have all confirmed the same thing. The USDA told them to pause payments. No federal money can be released until Congress reopens the government. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey said it plainly. President Trump is the first president in U.S. history to cut off SNAP benefits to people in America. And she's right. Food banks are already preparing for chaos, for lines that will be stretched around the block because millions of people are about to have nothing. Even if Congress reopened tomorrow, the USDA admits it would take billions to restart the program. This is not a glitch. This is not some bureaucratic oversight. This is a choice, a political decision that punishes the poorest people in America for something they didn't cause. So when 42 million people can't afford to eat, that's not even close to fiscal responsibility. That's just wrong.
I just saw a video that said Americans this holiday, close your wallets. And a comment said, thrift it, bake it, make it, trade it. Yes, let's try as hard as we can. Stop giving your money.
In a few days, millions of people in this country are going to have their SNAP benefits canceled. They're going to lose their food benefits. And there is absolutely no reason why that should happen. Congress sent the administration a letter reminding them that they have the funds. And in fact, there is a contingency fund to make sure that everybody can continue to get their benefits. But the administration is still insisting that those benefits be canceled. What kind of sick in the head people think like that? People will go hungry. Hunger will increase in this country. And so Democrats are for making sure that people get their SNAP benefit.
Here's the priority calculation. Unlimited funding for immigration enforcement, but feeding hungry kids needs to be negotiated. Think about that for a second. The government is saying we have blank checks to round people up and put them in detention centers, but we need serious conversations about whether we can afford to feed American children. That's not fiscal conservatism. That's choosing which suffering you care about. The entire SNAP program costs about $80 billion a year. Sounds like a lot until you realize we spend almost $800 billion on defense. We just handed enormous tax cuts to corporations that cost trillions over 10 years. We have the money. We've always had the money. This is about priorities, not budgets. If you genuinely care about government spending, ask yourself, why are we penny-pinching programs that feed children while writing blank checks for everything else? The math doesn't add up unless the cruelty is the point.
And you know what else we're for? We're for making sure that people don't see their health care premiums double and triple. And that's what this whole battle is about right now in Washington over government funding. And if this were a tax cut for a multimillionaire or billionaire to get Jeff Bezos another yacht, you could bet your ass that Trump would be on a plane back here, to get that deal done.
Our government would rather fund ICE than fund food supports. They'd rather fellow Americans go hungry instead of the idea that an undocumented person would get free healthcare, which, by the way, isn't true. Undocumented people can't benefit from the Affordable Care Act or Medicare or Medicaid because they are undocumented. It doesn't make sense. Right now, our government is saying it's okay to fund ICE, we'll send money to ICE, but not to food support. Their priorities are to round up immigrants off the street, effectively kidnapping them by agents in unmarked cars without badges, without federal licenses identifying who they are, or anything like that. That's what they want to focus on. They'd rather prioritize that than make sure that American children aren't going to bed hungry. Wrap your mind around what this administration is really doing and what they're really saying. Believe them when they say they don't care about you, because they don't care about you. That's you being fed, you and your family being fed and okay is not one of their priorities. But funding ICE is. Funding ICE is the most important thing to them right now, which means you're not. Which means we're already living in a country where 1 in 5 children go hungry. That's going to be exacerbated on November 1st when SNAP no longer has funding, because our administration is saying we don't care about that. But yeah, we'll send funding to ICE. It doesn't make sense to me why any American would support that, no matter what your stance is on immigration, no matter what your stance is on undocumented people being here. Have we really lost the plot so much that we're really to justify all of this? Because God forbid someone comes here without the wrong papers or does it in the wrong process. You're willing to let all of your fellow Americans suffer, go hungry. You're willing to let children starve. I personally don't think that's justifiable for any reason to take this out on Americans while continuing to fund ICE.
1 in every 8 Americans rely on SNAP to supplement their grocery budgets and to keep themselves and their families from going hungry.
1 in 8? In the richest country in human history, 1 out of every 8 people needs assistance to afford food. That's not a SNAP problem. That's a wage problem, a cost of living problem. And the majority of SNAP recipients are working. They have jobs. They show up. The problem is their jobs don't pay enough to cover rent, utilities, transportation, healthcare, and food. So something has to give. You can skip a meal. You can't skip rent. You'll be homeless. Can't skip your electric bill. Your kids could die. Can't skip your car payment. You'll lose your job. So food becomes the sacrifice. SNAP fills that gap. Should full-time workers need food assistance to survive? Absolutely not. But until we fix stagnant wages and skyrocketing costs, SNAP is the thing standing between millions of families in complete collapse.
However, those benefits are set to lapse in 2 days on November 1st because of the government shutdown. Now, if you want to help people who are in need and you don't have money to donate to hunger relief resources, or you don't have time to go and volunteer, you can help by simply watching this video. As part of the Creator Rewards program, when I have videos that perform well, I get paid for those. The videos have to be longer than a minute, and it's based on engagement, likes, comments, views. So simply by watching this video all the way through, by liking, commenting, reposting, sharing this video, you are making money for hunger relief resources. I will be donating all the profits that I make from these videos, all my videos until further notice, to hunger relief resources in Tennessee, and I'll regularly post receipts that I have done that so you all know that I'm not just grifting. There are 690,000 Tennesseans alone that rely on SNAP, and we do have money, a budget surplus that we could tap into as a state in order to feed these people, step in place of the federal government. However, our state government is more concerned with being a sycophant for Trump than they are for taking care of Tennesseans. And it is ironic that the majority of them claim to be Christian, but that's a rant for a different time. All that being said, if you want to help out, especially as we approach the holiday season, these food pantries are going to be stretched more thinly than ever before. And sadly, in the wake of a government that no longer cares about people, it is up to us to care about and take care of each other. So, like, comment, share, repost, watch it all the way through, turn the volume down, and just let it play in the background. And hopefully we can make some money to help out some families in need.
Help me get Thanksgiving meals to those in need. All you have to do is watch the entirety of this video and press all the buttons. Every penny from this video will go to the Hollywood Food Coalition and the West Side Food Bank. This is the first time in US history that SNAP benefits have been halted from a government shutdown. This leaves 420,000 LA County children as well as millions nationwide without support in November. 70% of California's SNAP recipients are families with children, so food banks are especially suffering, and this is why we all need to help. So if you're watching to this point, I want to thank you. Also, Albertsons is the largest grocery chain in California. I wonder if enough of us tag them, maybe they'll help us out. Weaponizing starvation in the 21st century should not exist anymore. There is enough food and abundance to feed every person on this planet. This scarcity that we're seeing is manufactured. And if you've made it to the end of this video, I want to thank you. Like, comment, share, tag Albertsons and your friends, and let's try to get as many people fed as possible.
This is what community looks like when institutions fail. People organizing, creating solutions because they have to. But here's the problem with relying on individual charity for systemic issues. We're privatizing social safety nets. Whether you eat depends on whether your story goes viral or someone with a platform fundraises for you. That's not sustainability. That's luck. Still, it's reality right now. So we do what we can. If you can donate, do it. Food banks are about to be slammed. Your $20 matters. If you can't donate money, donate time. Food banks need volunteers to sort donations, pack boxes, distribute food. And if you're struggling, there's no shame in asking for help. None. These programs exist because we decided people shouldn't go hungry. Use them.
You are about to see a lot of headlines about something, and it's going to affect millions of people. I'm the Attorney General for North Carolina, and we, along with all 50 states, just got a letter from the Department of Agriculture. This is the department that runs the SNAP program, which is our country's big food assistance program. And they are essentially shutting it down next week. The letter tells us not to provide food assistance to anyone starting November 1st. That's 16 million kids. 1 in 4 in our country. 600,000 just in North Carolina. Children make up almost half the entire SNAP program. The average benefit is about $180 a month, and the department says it is stopping all payments because of the government shutdown and a lack of funds. But the truth is, they have the money. They have a $6 billion emergency fund that Congress gave them for exactly this situation, to make sure that kids don't go hungry. They are choosing not to use that fund, and I believe the reason they're doing that is to ratchet up the pain for the shutdown. This is a political move, and that's illegal. When Congress gives a department money to fund a program, the department can't just refuse to fund it. That would be the same as the department overriding Congress, and they don't get to do that. So today, I and a number of AGs are taking the department to court. I've seen the discussion online over the last week about the SNAP program, and we should be talking about why so many kids need food assistance to eat. By all means, let's get to the root cause of that, because it's not good. But you know what else isn't good? Causing a massive hunger crisis among children starting next week. Whatever your politics, we should think about how this will feel when it goes from social media debate to reality. Watching it sweep across the country, the lines at food pantries, at churches, the desperation, how this will hit our schools, teachers being asked to handle classrooms with a lot more hungry kids. And just as we're all sitting down to celebrate Thanksgiving, this is becoming a national crisis. Allowing this to happen would be worse than reckless. We need to use the emergency fund, but it will run out pretty quick, which means the shutdown needs to end. So we need the negotiators to get going. And I'll keep you posted.
States are suing the federal government to force them to use emergency funding that already exists. That's where we are. Legal action to make the government follow the law and feed people. When Congress allocates money for a specific purpose, the executive branch doesn't get to just not spend it. That's not how appropriations work. Congress controls the purse strings, it's in the Constitution. So what we're seeing is the administration refusing to distribute funds explicitly allocated for emergency food assistance during shutdowns. Their reasoning? Political pressure. But playing chicken with people's lives has consequences. Food insecurity among children leads to developmental delays, health problems, behavioral issues, poor academic performance. Those effects last years, sometimes decades. When we talk about the cost of food assistance, we need to talk about the cost of not providing it. Emergency room visits for malnutrition, special education services, lost productivity, penny wise, pound foolish, doesn't cover it.
So growing up, my mom was the inventory manager of our local food pantry. And this meant that a lot of times on Saturday mornings when other kids were getting to sleep in, we would wake up early and go with her to help stock shelves. Now, of course, this wasn't always met with excitement. I mean, we were kids, it was the weekend, we wanted to sleep in or play with our friends, but volunteering there gave me so many lessons that have stuck with me my whole life. One of the biggest things is that your financial status can change in an instant. So whether a family had a sudden medical emergency or a child with special needs or a sudden job loss, we were not there to judge, we were there to just help the community. Now, since we were minors, we weren't allowed to work when the pantry was open to families. So what we did was stock the shelves to make sure that everything was organized and they could find things quickly. And going through these donations and stocking these shelves, you realize very quickly what a privilege it is to not have to stress about having food on your table. And lately I've been thinking a lot about that. I mean, I've been given this amazing platform with this amazing community, and I really want to do something that can impact and help people. So I did a little research and I just created a fundraiser for Feeding America. And before you scroll, this isn't partnered or sponsored. I literally did my own research and I just want to use my platform for good. And here's what's wild. You don't need to donate hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Just $1 helps provide 10 meals to people in need. So if you have anything at all to give, I just set a goal of $2,500 and put $200 in just to get it started. And even if you truly cannot give anything right now, which I totally understand, times are tough, please just share it with a friend or share it to your story. And I think we can take this one step further. There are so many brands on here, so I think we should tag our favorite brands and see if we can all come together to make a difference for this amazing cause. Truly, anything helps, and I just thank you guys for watching and even considering.
My feed has been absolutely flooded with Americans who are either right about to leave the US and move abroad or who have recently left the US. And as a family who left Texas last September, I remember the first holiday season abroad. This is only our second, so we're not pros by any means, but the first tinge of homesickness that I really felt was the holiday season, was Halloween. We arrived in Spain the first week of September. My son started school, so we're going through the whole back to school process in a totally different country, kind of just trying to keep our heads above water. So maybe we were just a little bit too busy trying to get settled and establish some normalcy to notice any homesickness. But Halloween was really when I started to feel that tinge of homesickness, because the way that we do holidays in the US,
No, not many places in the world do that, right? We're putting out Christmas and fall decor at the stores in July in the US. And so it feels like the holiday season drags on really, really, really long in the US. And every commercial you see on TV, everything you hear, we are bombarded with images of the holidays, right? And so Halloween arrived last year, and we still got to do some trick-or-treating. We did it with a big group from the school and lots of kids, and there was even a couple Americans there, but I remember talking to some American moms, and it was also their first Halloween. And they felt a lot of homesickness. And I think it's a thing. That first holiday season away from the US can be really tough. So if you are someone who recently moved and this is your first holiday season, I'm just checking in. I want to see how you're doing. I want to see, I want to know like what you're doing to kind of fill some of those spaces to make your life in your new country feel that same kind of holiday season vibe, because it is a bit of a grieving process the first holiday season away, and then I promise you it will eventually get easier. This holiday season for us, it's the second for us, and it just kind of feels normal. And you're in the vibe of the locals, you're in the vibe of everyone else around you, and you're not necessarily longing to see Spirit Halloween stores on every corner. You're not longing to see that. You find the places where you need to go to get the costume for your kids or decorations for your house. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, we don't have any decorations up. I have some fake leaves, a couple pumpkins back there, and then I have like a candle around here that smells kind of holiday season-y. I get the Nespresso pods that are the pumpkin spice. I still have some pumpkin spice Trader Joe's seasoning here, and I'm holding on to that as long as I can till I can get back to the US and get more. But you just learn that this is your new normal, and it's totally fine. But I promise you it will get better if you're feeling a wee bit sad during the holidays this year.
Most developed nations don't have these fights about whether to feed people. They just do it. Universal school meals, robust food assistance that isn't constantly under threat, social safety nets that actually work. It's not because they're socialist paradises. It's because they decided basic needs shouldn't be political footballs. Meanwhile, in America, we're one budget fight away from 42 million people losing food assistance every single time. And we spend more energy debating whether people deserve help than just providing it and moving on. The administrative cost of means testing, verification, and enforcement often rivals the cost of universal programs. But we can't do that because we're obsessed with making sure nobody gets something they don't deserve, even if it means people who desperately need help fall through the cracks. That's the trade-off. Some people will go hungry to make sure nobody games the system, and we act like that's normal.
Why is everyone sprinting to Christmas already? Like, bro, slow down. You're skipping the best holiday on the planet. Thanksgiving's undefeated. You and your cousins take that mysterious walk. Your aunt's got that stuff and you wait for all year. Somebody's tossing a football and jeans. And the food hits like a cheat code. And Thanksgiving Eve, that's when you run into that kid Matt you forgot even existed as a human being, but you sat next to him all through sophomore year history class. You catch up like the last 15 years didn't even happen. No pressure, no countdown, just chaos and gravy. Give the real champ its flowers.
I'm literally shaking right now. My boys and I started a food pantry in our front yard. I just went out to fix things. People have been using it all night. I just looked at my mailbox. Are you kidding me? There's no name. It just says, "May God prosper and bless your food pantry." We're really not letting people go hungry, man.
Guess what freaking day it is? It is the day that we refuse to let our neighbors go hungry. Because when something bad happens, we show up. In June, we raised $125,000 for charity. So let's do it again. Introducing Feed the People shirts. Also, loaves, not lectures. Mullins Media Co. has designed and added these to my website. Different colors, different designs. Every single dollar will go directly towards 2 charities. Feeding America and No Kid Hungry. Both of these charities provide at least 10 meals per every single dollar donated. Now, $125,000 was crazy. I don't know that we can do that this time, but if we did, that would be over 1 million meals, which is crazy. There's also other merch. I'm just going to let this play. This is not exhaustive, but it'll give you a good idea of the other stuff that is on there. Yep. There it is. Yep, there's more. And there's stickers and bags and stuff like that. There's also It's Okay to Be Scared Because I'm Not. Hoodies go up to size 3XL and shirts go up to size 4XL. And if you do not want a shirt but you would love to donate, go directly to feedingamerica.org or nokidhungry.org. And if you can't do any of that, please press all the buttons for this so other people see this so that we can get as many people involved as possible and raise as much money as possible for people in need. And I know that there are plenty of people who follow me who are in need right now. If that is you, Feeding America has a way for you to find your local food bank. Whether you give through this fundraising campaign or you go volunteer at your local food bank, or you buy can openers for people, or you donate or help in other ways, the most important thing is that we do something. If you do want to participate, you're going to go, this is my profile. You're going to go here and then here. Let's freaking do this!
Kidding me? There's no name. It just says, may God prosper and bless your food pantry. We're really not letting people go hungry, man.
Community food pantries, fundraisers, collecting donations. This is grassroots mutual aid, and it's beautiful. It's also a damning indictment of our institutions. We shouldn't need this. In a functioning society, we wouldn't need neighbors setting up food pantries in their yards to make sure kids eat. But here we are, and I'm genuinely grateful for people who step up. They're keeping people alive. Start small if you want to help. Check on neighbors. Buy an extra box of pasta and drop it at a food bank. Share information about resources. Every action matters. Food banks operate on tight margins. Your bag of groceries might feed a family for 3 days, and if you're struggling, you're not alone. There are people organizing, fundraising, volunteering to make sure you don't go hungry. Reach out. Ask for help. There's this weird mythology that asking for help is weakness. It's not. It's survival, and survival is strength.
How we realized that the system was already created for corruption. From the start of this land, it was founded on a seed of sin, first of all. And what's going on with so many people economically, this has been going on for years. People for years have worked, and seemingly haven't seen any type of progression in their lives because of the way the system has been designed. It's wild to me that people really think that people have not been fighting to put themselves in a better position for all of these years. Now, you may have some people that just don't care, but 99.9% of people, if they were able to be in better positions, they would absolutely do what they need to do to be in a better position. I've been hearing so many stories of people who've been making minimum wage and having children and working really hard and haven't seen any results, haven't been able to get on the food stamps and all of this. So I've heard so many stories. I just came out of the grocery store and there was a group of older white women and they were literally talking about the people in their age range and their community of how they are suffering and how they are struggling, and was literally asking each other questions like, what are you gonna do? And I'm sitting up here like, I'm listening. I'm like, onlooker, I'm in y'all business, but I'm listening because I'm like, what is going on? And literally it was like 3 senior citizen women, white older women, and they were literally like, I can't believe this. And I'm looking like, how y'all can't believe this? This has been going on for centuries. People have been struggling. This world system has been created for only a certain group of people to be biggie wigs and head honchos. As I'm listening to one young lady, she's talking about how her power got cut off, so her food went bad and she didn't have no lunch for her job, and and all the people was acting funny, didn't want to help her out, whatever. I was listening to her story, and the whole time I was thinking, I'm a Christian, I love God. But at this point, if you finagle the system all to the well, they finagling us. And y'all sit up here and wonder why people robbing the system. Now, y'all go look at me funny. I don't care. And y'all wonder why people rob the system and do what they do and play a game and manipulate to get what they need to do to survive. That's why y'all mad, because people doing that. This has been going on for centuries. There's only a certain group of people in the upper echelons, these biggie wigs, who is top Fortune 500 company people. You can't be in the club. This has been going on for years. God is just now uncovering it, and we are now coming into the light of the truth, of the deception. It's been here. We just ain't been able to see it. But now the veil is lifted, and everybody's discernment is on point. And here's the thing. People lie, steal, cheat to survive. That's the wild part. Y'all mad at people robbing and taking the system and taking food stamps and doing, because the system is broken. It's been broke. They've been playing us. I'm not mad at them people. Do what you gotta do to survive. Now, this ain't no Christian what do you call it, viewpoint, but oh well. I ain't robbing the system. I'm just saying. But if I had to, I don't know what I'd do. I had to trust Jesus, child. Trust in Jesus with a little sprinkle of finagle. Child, just lukewarm. Just lukewarm. Trust in God with a little bit of, I'm just finna lie real quick. Okay, girl, you are so lukewarm. I'm sorry, Lord. I gotta survive and eat. So seriously. Trust God. Don't listen to me. Just trust the Lord. Trust the Lord through all things. He gonna pull us through, y'all. But this is the stuff that I'm talking about. It's just baffling me that people are shockery now because it's hitting your home. And see, the people who still supporting Biggie Wig in the big house, it's gonna come down your street too. It's just a matter of time. It's going to come down your street. It will come down your street. You in support now because you a Biggie Wig. You elevated. But when it come down your street, we gonna be looking at you like, child, we been through this. The Biggie Wig in the big house, and then he better not play with my emotions and sit up here and do this to these people. And then on November 1st, he finna say today. Now, if he do that, quit playing. If this man do that, he playing too much. Even that is a form of manipulation and deceit. You're doing all this, getting people in an uproar, all this hoopla, ain't no food stamps November 1st, doing all this, and then on November 1st, here we go, another conference, FaceTime with the principal. Hey, I'm FaceTiming y'all. I'm going to declare on today that we're going to feed everybody. Quit playing with people's emotions. That's deceit. That's manipulation. Manipulate. I'm the savior. I'm doing this. That's wearing me out.
The system is broken and has been for a long time. Wealth inequality is at levels we haven't seen since the Gilded Age. Real wages, adjusted for inflation, have barely moved for most workers since the 1970s. Meanwhile, corporate profits are at record highs, CEO compensation is astronomical, and we're told we can't afford to feed children. It's insulting. People are rightfully angry, but anger is fuel, not a strategy. Being mad is valid. Using that anger to organize, vote, demand better. That's how things change. Stop voting for people who use hunger as a weapon. Stop supporting politicians who give tax breaks to billionaires while cutting food assistance. Stop accepting that's just how things are. Things are how they are because we allow them to be. Vote in primaries. Show up to town halls. Support candidates who care about working people. Run for office if you're frustrated. And take care of each other. That's not optional. That's survival.